It begins with steam. A distant world cloaked in yellow poison begins to weep. Not rain, but vapor. Superheated, acidic, relentless. For centuries, Venus has been a hellscape. Its skies thick with carbon dioxide, its clouds choking with sulfuric acid, and its surface hot enough to melt lead. But now, something is changing. Water has returned. Not a trickle, not a storm, an ocean delivered by design. Maybe we bombarded the planet with icy comets. Maybe we built vast solar mirrors in orbit to cool the atmosphere. Maybe we used advanced technology to strip away the crushing CO2 and replace it with something breathable. However it happened, the transformation is undeniable. For the first time in billions of years, Venus has waves, and everything begins to change. The surface, once a baking wasteland of volcanic plains and dead mountains, now glistens with liquid. Oceans fill ancient basins. Craters become lakes. The highlands, like Ishtar Terra and Aphrodite Terra, rise like continents above the waterline. A planet that once boiled under a runaway greenhouse effect now shimmers under a sky of clouds and reflection. The temperature plummets, no longer trapped by a super thick atmosphere. The planet begins to cool slowly. Then suddenly, clouds of sulfuric acid break apart, replaced by real water vapor. The sky, once dull and pale, deepens. Not quite blue, not yet, but no longer stained with death. But Venus doesn't yield easily. Its rotation is a nightmare. One day on Venus lasts 20. That means sunlight bakes the surface for months before plunging it into darkness for just as long. Even with oceans, this slow spin creates violent, unbalanced weather. One side scalds, the other freezes. Winds scream across the terminator, the boundary between night and day, pulling clouds into twisted spirals, birthing storms that rage for weeks. Still, water brings life, at least the potential for it. Oceans become climate engines. They absorb heat, distribute it, and feed weather systems. They carve shorelines, erode mountains, and regulate chemistry. They cool the crust and thicken the clouds. And deep within, where hydrothermal vents might form along old volcanic ridges, the first whispers of microbial life could stir just as they once did on Earth. Over centuries, Venus would stabilize. Its skies might clear. Its heat would retreat. Plate tectonics, long dormant, could awaken under the weight of new water. A dynamic crust might rise and fall again, giving birth to a geologically active world. But this rebirth carries risk. Venus's core may be too quiet. Without a strong magnetic field, the solar wind is free to erode its new atmosphere, just as it did before. To protect this fragile ocean world, we'd need to build an artificial magnetosphere, giant electromagnetic shields in orbit, or perhaps satellites that emit protective fields, wrapping Venus in a man-made cocoon. Without that shield, every drop of water could once again vanish into space, molecule by molecule. But if we succeed, if we give Venus an ocean, protect it, and guide its transformation, it becomes more than a project. It becomes a mirror, because Venus is Earth's twin. Same size, same mass, same basic ingredients. The difference? A few degrees of heat, a slightly closer orbit, the delicate balance tipped the wrong way. Venus shows us what could have happened here, a warning written in clouds of acid, a future that was avoided, not by luck, but by balance. And now, by giving it water, we give it hope, not just for colonization, not just for terraform, but for redemption, for a second chance. Imagine standing on the shores of this new Venus, the sun dimmer than on Earth, but still warm, waves breaking against alien rocks, the sky hazy, but breathable, life, perhaps imported, perhaps native, beginning to root in the soil. A world once damned, now cradling possibility. Giving Venus an ocean isn't just a scientific challenge, it's an act of creation, of healing, a cosmic experiment in what happens when we play God not to conquer, but to restore. It asks a question we rarely dare to answer. What if the worst places in the universe didn't have to stay that way?